think I got
Are the mics live or no?
Yeah.
I think I get the dead headphones.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting to tell them. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Oh wait. I think I just...
I was told to let go the radio. They could tell I went to school for radio or something. Something they were saying.
What does that mean?
A couple people saying I need to let go.
But what do you mean by that?
I guess the structure and style and stuff like that.
Oh.
They prefer it to be more of a podcast.
Oh,
but
so we're not podcasting, we're radioing.
I guess some of it I can't help.
Huh.
But I mean, and then maybe they caught one of our more structured shows.
Could be.
Because some of our shows are loosey-goosey, and I'm
some are more structured.
telling crazy stories and this, and that. But
yeah. Do you get a story from the trip to Miami?
I have rants today.
Rants?
I have 3 different rants.
You come back from a festive Caribbean occasion full of rants?
One is involving that.
Okay.
But it's more of a good rant. The other 2 are more of,
Just got something on your mind.
Yeah.
All right.
This is not a topic at all, just a sidebar. It's just something I just saw. We played 76ers preseason tonight.
Yeah.
We played Brooklyn Nets. Playing the Brooklyn Nets in Philadelphia. And, of course, Ben.
Ben's not available?
What a whore.
Did he sit out?
Sit out. He's played in every preseason game the Brooklyn Nets have played in. All of a sudden, the first time they play Philly in the preseason, he doesn't play.
But are you surprised?
Huh?
Are you surprised?
We're what, 2 years or 3 years removed now? I mean,
he may never play in Philly again.
That's nuts. That is so nuts. And he just came off a halfway decent. The first game, his first preseason game, he had 0 points, 1 rebounds in 20 minutes. Terrible.
In 20 minutes?
The next game, he kind of rebounded, had 10 points and 4 rebounds or something. He was more aggressive, right? That was the last game. That was his most recent game.
Building up to big game in Philly.
And
sit out.
Boom, sits out.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
That's just so soft.
But the reality is, that's his whole problem. His downfall is rooted in his inability to, respond to difficulty.
Yeah.
He just went in the tank and then, just literally didn't want to play again.
Yeah, but if you're his advisors, his coaches, his agents,
anybody that cares about him,
you have to hey, no, you have to play in this game.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the end of it. You're healthy, right? You did all of this talking all season, and you did again with all of the all season shooting videos. In 3 games, you haven't shot 1 shot, but that's whatever. Besides the point, you did all that. Oh, I'm fully healthy now, and this, and that. Well, play. You're on 2-3 days rest. It's the preseason. There are no back-to-backs in preseason.
Right.
Play the game.
Yeah.
Stop being a whore.
He's not even a whore. I mean, if you pay a whore, she does what she's supposed to do. He has less character than
in
a
my
whore.
experience. That's correct.
Let's hope. I mean, unless they're drugging you, taking a kidney. I don't know. I mean, come on. Let's not taint the work ethic of whores.
I forgot to share this on the socials here.
On the socials. But yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not surprised, but no, certainly as an advisor, you would tell him, this is exactly what you need to do. Walk into Philly, play well.
Yeah.
Exercise the demons, whatever you want to call it. That's the only way. I mean, the reality is there's just no other way to do it. If you don't do that, if you don't confront your fears, if you don't confront what's uncomfortable for you, it basically takes a space in your world.
Especially in a controlled environment where nothing counts or matters. It's the preseason.
Right. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
completely innocuous. Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
But yeah, I can't. That's just horrible. But that's who he's become.
Yeah.
You know, people show you who they are.
You just gotta believe them.
Yeah.
Just gotta believe them. You guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We are back. All right, we are back. We had to take a week off because of the hurricane. We had momentum.
We did.
Yeah, man. We had some good momentum going. See if we can get that picked back up and going. All right. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff. Not everything pictured here, but the NBA is back, so we're going to be talking about some of the top storylines, including Klay Thompson continues to struggle. We'll see if he's washed or not. All right. Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter. All right. People are having, they have Deion on the hot seat here for how, Travis Hunter got injured and things like that. We'll talk about that. All right. There's been some NFL trades with wide receivers swapping teams. We'll talk about who has the bigger impact there. And then there's a lot of different little trending viral stories going around. One is the OnlyFans debacle. The other, you got this dad who's been wrongly imprisoned, if you ask me.
He looks like Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, he does, right, in the little picture.
Yeah.
And then you have what's not pictured here. A story that I like is a lady in prison, a very sexy lady in prison. We have a sexy mom who has her son in football. We'll talk about all of that good stuff, man. Talk about all that good stuff.
Sexy's a big theme on today's show.
It really is. It really is.
Now that we got Ben Simmons out of the way.
I got a couple rants to start off with today, man.
All right, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on my mind. You take a week off, man, and you just ponder in your thoughts. You know what I mean? you just ponder.
You might be better off with shorter breaks.
Okay, let's start here. I want to get this out of the way. I'm in Miami for the carnival. It's not where you think it's going. I'm not going to go there first. Not going to talk about the carnival first. Instead, I'm going to talk about the time I took out of my day to watch the Florida Gators play. And what a mistake that was. So
that was an evening game, too. So those were prime hours.
Prime time hours when I'm supposed to be out during Miami Carnival festivities. I decided to stay in the hotel and watch the Florida Gators play. Now, here goes the thing, right? I'm on all of these Florida Gator message boards and Facebook groups, text groups, and all of this stuff. I've been one of the last supporters of Billy Napier. I've said it on this show.
You have been a supporter even this year?
Yeah, supporter as in, let's not fire him yet. That's what I mean. Not like, yeah, that's my guy. I mean, like, let's hold off. And it is because of, like I said, of his recruiting abilities. And here goes the thing. The recruits that he has, these guys can play. We found out that these guys really are 4- and 5-star guys. These guys are awesome. All of these new guys, these guys are Billy's guys. This is his recruiting classes that he has here that are on the field, fighting and playing, and they are awesome, okay? The problem is the guy that's leading them is not awesome. The game that was played, man, if you just simply, Saturday morning, 6, 7 in the morning, if you called Billy and said, Billy, I want you to stay home today. You got the day off. I know we have a game today, but I want you to take the day off. And you called Urban and said, Urban, I know you don't know any of these guys. You haven't said anything. You haven't coached in years. I want you to come in and just coach today's game. Just simply a one-man swap. We win that game by 30 points. The fucking awfulness. I'm creating words here. That was on the field Saturday night is insane. The plays these men were calling. And another thing, he never takes accountability for the dumbass moves or plays or calls that he does. I'm catching on to him.
What is his move then?
So he said. So they asked him about the 2-point conversion that he ended up going back and changing it, kicking the field goal to go to overtime. They asked him about the jet sweep on 4th and 1 that he ran. They talked about the quarterback sneak. And every time they ask him specific questions about it, he'll say, "Well, we thought about it on the sideline. We decided that this was X, Y, and Z," talking about him and his coaching staff. Billy, I don't give a shit what you and your Home Depot coaches are talking about on the sideline. You are the man. You make the call. It was your call, your decision. Okay, you're and it's been like this every single week. He's calling these terrible calls. These terrible play calls. And it's just awful, man. And he tries to make up for calls, which makes it even worse because it's like, okay, so we have a 3rd down and 1, and we have our backup quarterback in, which now, because Graham Mertz is out, DJ Lagway is going to take over from here. But DJ Lagway is in the game at this point. Graham Mertz is still healthy, okay? On 3rd and 1, it's an incomplete pass, 4th and 1, with DJ Lagway in the game. Okay, he does a jet sweep with our wide receiver. Okay, which of course gets stopped. And it's not even 4th and 1; it's 4th and 8 inch, not inches. 4th and an inch. DJ Lagway is a 6'3", 200. He's a big guy. Okay, you run it with him. Okay. He messed that call up. He's, after the jet sweep doesn't work, okay? We're getting the red zone again. That was a red zone play. We're getting the red zone again. And Graham Mertz is in the game. It's 4th and inch. What does he do? He does a quarterback sneak with his unathletic white quarterback when you just had DJ Lagway. And, of course, Mertz gets fucking jammed at the line and doesn't get it, okay? And you just have call after call like that where it's just tone deaf. It's a terrible play call. And it's been like that throughout his tenure, okay? And now it's to the point where, it sucks because you have to get rid of them, and you just have to pray that you bring in someone that can retain Lagway in most of these recruits. And I don't know. I honestly don't know what he did or how he even was able to get all of these recruits. Like, are you fucking these guys' mothers? Are you Big D Billy? Like, how do you go in someone's living room with this resume of play calling, this resume of shit on the field, okay, and obtain all of these stars? How?
He doesn't appear to have a dynamic personality either.
Yeah, it's not money. We had the thing with the Rashada guy. He wanted more money. He told him he was going to give him more money and did it. So it's not like Florida is spending some absurd amount of NIL money. We're not. We're not even in the top 5. Like Texas is killing it, and with as far as institutions giving out NIL money. So it's not that. So I don't know how he's doing it. Somehow he's doing it. That needs to be checked into, NCAA. I'm calling the bird call them on, school that I love and love to watch every Saturday.
Banging somebody's mom an NCAA violation?
I don't know. I don't
think it should be.
But it needs to be.
She wants to spread them.
This needs to be researched.
Let's play through.
This needs to be researched and documented, man. And now we play Kentucky Saturday. He's 0-2. Which before him, I don't even know when the last time we lost to Kentucky. Before that, I mean, the Tebow game, I guess.
He was the first guy to lose to Kentucky?
No. I remember. I'm pretty sure, without looking it up, the Tebow I Promise game. I'm pretty sure that was a Kentucky game, if I'm not mistaken.
The I Promise game.
Yeah. I promised we're going to be better.
No, that was you lost to Ole Miss.
That was Ole Miss? Okay, well, yeah, he might be the first motherfucker to lose to Kentucky in a long time.
As I recall it, you guys had a very long streak
against Kentucky
that I thought ended somewhere in the last 5 to 7 years.
He's 0-2. I know that 1,000%.
Yeah.
He's 0-2 against Kentucky, which is a crying shame. He's 0-2 against a basketball school. The excitement comes that DJ Lagway takes over, but honestly, Mertz was actually playing fairly well for his capabilities and abilities. So
what a bad way
to
tear your ACL though. Like I watching the play, it was a
non-contact injury.
But even that, like he wasn't even really cutting or doing anything.
No.
It was as strange an ACL tear as I recall seeing.
Yeah.
Like he literally is dropping back, releases a ball that turns into a touchdown, and kind of just turns his body to kind of settle his momentum, and ACL tear.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Very, very strange. You know what else sucks too? Last thing I'll say on this. When the team is bad, and I've been a fan of the Gators of bad Gator teams. You know, it's easy to check out and hey, I'll catch you guys in the offseason, see what we're doing recruiting wise. But when you're average, when you're an average team, it's hard to let go because you never know. Like that game, we had that game won against what they were, the 6th ranked team.
Number 8, I think.
8 ranked team. Like that game was won. We should have won that game by 20, 30 points. And we have 4 or 5 other ranked opponents that we have to play. And honestly, roster-wise, we should be in all of those games. That's what makes this sickening. And so I'm going to be forced to watch because, we could win one of those games, even with a terrible coach, because we should have won that one because we have the players on the field to win.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, the Texas A&M game was extremely disappointing, and there was a lot of sentiment to fire Billy right after the game. And he had the bye week, but you go to Mississippi State and win. Mm-hmm. You take care of business against UCF. We're not really threatened in that game. And then you lose an overtime game that was yours to win against the top 10 team. Like, yeah, it sucks to lose that one, but you're undeniably on kind of an upswing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
In the context of the season.
Yeah.
But
I hate that. I'd rather not be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And college is so different than than pro sports because pro sports you definitely would rather tank, but in college tanking serves absolutely no purpose. You can lose a recruiting class going 1 and 2 or whatever.
Yeah, tanking is extremely dangerous because you kind of lose all momentum as a program, and again you're trying to recruit guys that want to go to winning program. They want to be in the spotlight. And even the transfer guys, in particular, they want to be in winning situations where they can be showcased. And if you're tanking, if you're that bad, you have nothing to sell.
Absolutely nothing at all. All right, next rant here. Rant 2 of 3. I have one female friend now, right? Jamie. Okay.
Just one?
Just one now, like platonic, whatever.
I thought you had several.
And when I was in college, I only had one. Nikita. Shout out to Nikita. She's actually
still alive.
Still alive.
All
right. And she's from Ghana. Shout out to the homeland, our whole family. She's fresh off the boat, or her family is at least. All right. But anyway, And we were together all every day, all of that good stuff. And then this is going somewhere here, okay? Whenever, being that we're so close, okay, whenever they would have guy problems, I would be involved in those conversations. They would ask me my opinion.
What's going on here, Bubba?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever they did that, I would always give them the point of view from the guy's side. And pretty much take his side. And I would do that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you are the guy friend, it serves you no purpose unless it's like something egregious, right? The guy is on video smashing her sister or something. It's not a lot you can say. But, I've been in situations to where the girl I was dating or with, her male friend is like whatever, trying to, talk trash about me or whatever. And I'm sure that happens to a lot of other guys out there. Bubba's out there doing this and that because he's at this place or that place. Well, it's like, why? Why would you do that?
Well, the why is quite simple. They're trying to get laid.
Yeah,
I mean that's the why. Like there's no other why. Like they're the guy that's in the friend zone but don't really want to be in the friend zone, and they're praying for that moment of weakness.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And that's just so lame. That is so lame. And the thing about it is I don't even deal with women that will smash lame guys like that. You understand? Like anybody, anybody's woman could get, smashed by another guy. Like anybody can get cheated on or whatever. Right? But but just not by a lame person. And that's just lame. Now, to me, that has to be another reason. I understand that's the most obvious reason. I don't know what another reason could be, but there has to be another. Because just in case that the relationship is truly platonic, I don't know. Maybe some guys just hate for no reason. You know what I mean?
But I really don't think that's it. And I think if the relationship is truly platonic, then the type of advice the woman gets is different. What they're gonna get from that guy in a truly platonic situation is like, I'm gonna tell you what this guy's thinking and what his mentality is in whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
And that sounds like the lane that you
that's exactly
give that advice.
That's 100%.
So that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, you're going through the situations, seeing it through your perspective, and you're frustrated or upset with this guy. Well, I'm going to tell you what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Because I've walked in those shoes, and it's like, hey, here's what is it? You're not giving enough head, so he's now not happy with you, and that's whatever. All these different things can happen.
Exactly. Just stop the lame shit, guys. That's the point of the story. Okay, just stop the lame shit. All right. Lastly, as I said, I was at Miami Carnival. First of all, 10 out of 10. Even with hurricane aside, I just had an unreal time there. Didn't want to leave. My point to bringing this up is, it's funny because I forgot the woman we had in here. I think it was, I don't know. But anyway, remember we were talking about Miami Carnivals around last year, and she was saying, "Oh, Bubba just wants to go out there to watch the naked ladies." I don't know. You remember?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been said about you more than once.
I'm sure of that. And because they have listen, Caribbean black women, whatever, they do look amazing when they have those when they're playing Moss and they have it they have it on. But also at the other fetes that they call fetes, they have whether it's swimwear, might be an attire or whatever the case may be, they just don't have a lot of clothes on. And yeah, they are very sexy human beings. But when I went to DC, right, and it was a professional setting, at a black conference, and a lot of black women.
In DC, it wasn't a Caribbean party at all.
No.
Oh, okay,
I'm talking. Yeah, just a
the
professional
contrast.
setting. Yeah, I'm
contrasting.
A quick turn because I'm going to compare here. It's the same level of beauty, like in a two-piece versus a damn business suit, like black women, because and I can't even choose. You know what I mean? Like if I had to choose, if you put one up against the other, like a beautiful black woman in a business suit versus one in her carnival carnival attire or a bathing suit or whatever you want to do, and you put those two against each other, I couldn't even choose. Like I grew up in a Christian household. You're not supposed to use the name, you're not supposed to use Jesus in vain. But I like shit. You made these. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like how can you create something like this? This is insane. And every head turn, and that was in DC and in Miami. Like it's just insane, man. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's why I don't mess with the white women.
I'm sure they have their versions.
No,
I haven't been to the those events.
Maybe have like a very, very sexy Klan rally.
Hey, you got the big hood on, nothing underneath, Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, man.
What's under your hood?
What do you think? Do you take anything away from black guys who like to role play and have like their white girls dress up in like a Klan's, you know whatever?
I think that's super weird.
You've heard of that though, right?
I talked to a black woman who liked race play.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
What is that?
Yeah.
And he kind of explained. And I'm like, nah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
It's not for me.
And I mean, I'm a fairly kinky guy, but that's a kink too far.
That's a kink too far.
I just don't get it.
We got to ask our guy, man. We got to get him back on the show and ask him if he's into race play.
Yeah.
T.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, like, because it, like how that, like, I mean, like, yeah, just how you got some wild wiring if you connect that to like being sexually aroused and in a sexual frame of mind.
Yeah.
Like that's just like kind of like the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like, like who wants to like talk politics when you're getting ready to have sex? It's just not like the right thing to talk about.
Yeah.
So no, that's a whole different thing, man. I can't see myself participating in that.
Oh man.
Yeah. You ever tried?
No, man. I've never been with a white woman before, man.
Yeah.
I tell every girl I get with though that I do want that experience before I, get married if I ever do.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one time.
Well, what's holding you back?
I don't know. I've been to 2 all-white schools. I graduated from Winter Park High School, and then I have a master's degree from Rollins.
Have you ever even gone on like a date or been like talking to a white woman where it's
the closest
in that lane?
The closest I've ever been was I worked with one at Home Depot, and she used to be like at my neck every single day. The problem is that she was what I call a black white girl, right? So she had all the slang. She sounded like a black girl. She dressed like one. She damn near looked like one, but she was Snow White. She was Snow White, but she was whatever. She was a white girl in a black body, and I really don't like that. But she was funny or whatever. It was cool. It was work. But
I think it's a black girl in a white body.
Black girl in a white body. Well, I said it
the
opposite.
That way around.
But she was really after me, man. But no, I didn't. Every other black guy in there smashed. And that's another thing too. I didn't want.
You didn't want to be 63rd.
So yeah, that's that. But no, it's the closest I ever been, man.
Damn.
Yeah. Closest I ever been to a white girl.
If you're interested in Bubba, hit him up on the socials.
They say the head is amazing, so I have to find that out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's not into race play though, so
no. If that's your thing,
keep that in your back pocket. At least warm him up a little bit.
Yeah, man. Gotta warm that Chevy up, man. You know what I mean?
That's great, man. I hope it happens for you.
I don't know, man. As the years go by, I feel like it's the percentage gets less.
What about like an Asian?
I got close. Now that I went on a date with one and all of that, and she still. It was at Rollins. I met her at Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah. But nothing happened. We didn't do anything though.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't make a move. I took her to the movies. I didn't make a move. That's a mistake. That's a mistake of mine. I took her to the movies. That was the night. I should have took her home and did something, but I didn't.
And then you think she was waiting for you to make the move?
Yeah. For sure.
But she didn't have the balls to make a move herself?
No. So things got left there. Such a sad situation. Now she's a lawyer making a lot of money.
Really?
Yeah, making a ton of money.
She doesn't work at my job, does she?
In California.
Oh, okay.
No, she's doing big lawyer stuff. Not to minimize.
I think I just got shit on. Wow. Damn.
Oh,
man.
man.
I was doing all right. Guess not.
Moving along here. We got a lot of sports stuff here. All right. I might send her a message tomorrow just to, hey, how you doing these days?
Hey, Thinking about going to California?
Hey. January, I'll be there. Yeah, you're right. There you go. There was a big trade here, man. A couple big trades here. You got Devontae Adams reuniting with Aaron Rodgers in in New York. Okay, they were together in Green Bay.
Green Bay East.
Yeah, Green Bay East. And then you got Amari Cooper going from Cleveland to Buffalo. Two similar cities and being miserable in, but a much better situation, quarterback and offense situation for Amari. So I'm sure he's excited about that. So my question for you is, what trade is going to have the bigger impact, you think?
Buffalo, hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean Buffalo's a playoff team. They're potentially a contending team, and they're bringing in kind of what they're lacking is like an established upper tier wide receiver. Amari Cooper has been a very interesting guy. Great Alabama career. Came into the league with a good flash, and but for a guy that he's maybe not in that absolute upper tier receivers.
No,
he's bounced around from team to team, and that's unusual for a player who's really good. And again, he's another guy that you never hear anything bad about him
ever,
and you don't hear him even contract stuff.
No.
I don't recall him being in an acrimonious contract negotiation. He just quietly goes about his business. He's productive. But at this point in his career, he's been in some good situations and some bad team-wise. And I think going to play for Josh Allen, nobody in that receiver room has really stepped up to fill Stephon Diggs', missing gap. But I think you're going to a playoff team and you're going to immediately make them a better team. So I think this is an excellent move for them. And on the financial side, I think the way this deal works is that Cleveland converted money to a signing bonus. So I think the Bills are literally paying him less than $1 million for the remainder of the year. Whereas the Adams is going to be paid about 11 plus for the remainder of the year with the Jets. Now, Jets, Rodgers, and Adams back together, yeah, that's a good thing on paper. But you got to realize the last time they played together, Aaron Rodgers was 2 or 3 years younger. And to me, probably a very different player than the guy we've seen so far this year. And so I think it will help Rodgers to a degree be a bit better. But this is a team that's just fired their coach. They're not tracking toward the playoffs. You're going to go there for what might be the last year or two of Aaron Rodgers' career, and then you're going to be wanting to go somewhere else. I think he's on his way to becoming kind of a professional vagabond.
Devontae.
Yeah.
My answer is it better be the Jets. The bigger impact better be with the Jets because this is an Aaron Rodgers move. Say what you want. He's calling all the plays right now. He's calling all the shots. All right, and honestly, when you're a team that has been as bad, as long as the Jets have been bad, it's not the worst place to be in. To let a future Hall of Famer be calling all the shots because you haven't done a great job of doing that yourself, right? So he wanted the coach gone. He brought all of his guys in. He got a guy, a backup quarterback job who just. He was one of the worst college quarterbacks ever in Tim Boyle. You know what I mean? And he was, how did he get him a job? I have no idea. But it's Aaron. Aaron's calling the shots. He gets the people in who he wants to get in. And it better work. It better work or this is has been an epic failure. And no other NFL franchise ever, no matter how good a player is, they never give their franchise over to a player. It's just not how that's not how the NFL works. The NBA, you can say it happens like that, but never in the NFL because there's just so many nuances.
Yeah, if you think too, when Tom went to Tampa, they had a good amount of pieces in place. They did go with Gronk.
Yeah.
But other than that, a couple of the moves they made, they brought in AB, they brought in Leonard Fournette during the course of that first year that turned out to be a Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
But those weren't necessarily Tom moves.
No.
And so, they just continued to make good football moves while he was there and got a title out of it. But Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, can't blame him for last year. The Achilles tear was an unfortunate incident, but he has not looked good this year. The team hasn't looked good. They've fired the head coach, and then right after that, they didn't even get a bump in performance after firing the coach.
Right,
they lost last week, and so this is kind of just reeks of desperation for both guys' parts. And again, when I watch documentary style TV, I take a lot out of it. I watched Hard Knocks the year before, and I felt like Robert Saleh was just not very good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's an idiot, but he just doesn't project as a high-level top guy. He doesn't have an energy about him that you can feel. And I think that, that's part of his problem. And now he's fired. Davante Adams was in the Receiver series on Netflix. I didn't particularly like him.
Yeah.
He really kind of came off as like a diva. And I know they didn't have a good quarterback situation last year. But I thought he was like literally a little dramatic on everything and not really invested. And now you got the whole thing where, he's injured, doesn't play last week, and miraculously ready to go.
It's ready to go this week.
It's just, there's just something that comes off a little calculated with him that I don't really like. And I think that he's going to go to the Jets where Aaron Rodgers is also a calculating guy.
Yeah.
And here's the reality. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is clearly on the back end of his career year to year. I don't think Davante Adams is getting any better. I think he is peaked, and I think he's entering a period of decline. And I'm not saying it's like a dramatic decline where he's going to be garbage by the start of next year, but he ain't getting better. And that's like a significant thing. And when you're a great player and you stop getting better and you start to feel a little bit more mortal each year, that's incredibly frustrating. And it's incredibly demoralizing. And you get a frustrated guy who's unhappy with everything around him. And that's the way he turned out in L.A. Or Las Vegas. And if this Jets situation doesn't go well, that's where he's going to be, 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, I mean, Amari just, like you said, as far as professionalism, I mean, he's been in one of the worst quarterback situations that there are. And you just haven't heard anything from him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that Deshaun Watson situation. People are saying fire sale now, but I don't think. I think they've been talking about getting off of Amari, and they will not make the move to Jameis because of the contract situation. But if you want a chance to win, that's just what you need to do. Deshaun he's looked awful week after week after week. And he's looked putrid.
It's not, yes, winning is absolutely important. But at this point, it's not about winning. It's about, finding a soul of the team.
Yeah.
Because Deshaun is just terrible right now. And people are just losing. And when I say people in the locker room, people on the team are just losing any confidence that anything good can come out of this season.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be there. I mean, even if Jameis comes in, just that simple element of change is going to give you a bit of a lift. And if they do play better and win a few games, maybe you finish the year with something. And don't forget where we were last year.
What's that?
Deshaun was crap last year.
Yeah.
And when he finally went out of the game and they bring in Joe Flacco,
they started
became a playoff team.
Like you just can't hide away from that. Deshaun hasn't thrown for 200 yards one time this year. That's insane.
Yeah.
Hasn't thrown for 200 yards one time. I understand you guaranteed his contract. I understand you can't move him. You can't get away from him and this and that. You can't trade him. But you have a guy behind him that is more capable. You know what I mean? Make the change. See what you have in your team. You're 1-5, what have you. Now, on the flip side of that, maybe you tank. Maybe in their mind, they're tanking. Now, that's something, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not totally opposed to that, but at the same time, you should see what you have in the rest of your team because you really just don't know. I mean, that offense is just not operating at any level of substance. So that's my call. But I do understand you do have a couple of college quarterbacks coming out that do seem promising. So,
but again, if you're still stuck with this guy's contract and you're afraid to make a decision because of that, like you're gonna get the top 5 pick and use it on
and then ride him on the bench. I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Either way. Now, one story I do want to mention though, Nick Chubb, who suffered one of the most disgusting injuries I've seen in a football game, is close to coming back for this Browns team, and. This guy had a bad injury in college, rebounded, had very good NFL career thus far, suffered another absolutely horrific knee injury. I just want to shout out the courage of this guy for coming back, doing the work it takes to come back from that type of injury, and the mentality to go out there again and compete and play. Hats off to this guy, whether he's plays great, and I hope he does, but even if he doesn't play great, the fact that he's willing to go do this is infinite respect for him. Infinite respect.
Facts. From one NFL story to another, Mike Tomlin. So the Miami Dolphins allegedly did not hire current Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin after the 2007 interview because he was too hip-hop to be a head coach. Of course, Pittsburgh Steelers went off to be one of the most consistent NFL teams we have in the league, and Miami has been a mixed bag of nothingness since 2007.
Since before.
Yeah, since before. Since Dan Marino.
Interesting, and I don't know the answer to this question. Who was the Dolphins' owner then? Was it the same guy that currently owns the team or not?
Is it Ross?
Ross currently owns the team.
Yeah.
I have no idea if he was the owner in 2007.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is. I mean, the funny, the too hip hop is just the only way you could say that. He's too black.
Yeah,
that's just another this. You're just trying to dance around the fact that he's black and you're not going to hire him. I mean, that is an absolute shame. They deserve the mediocrity that they've had for the last 18 years or 17 years because of that decision.
This is interesting. He became owner in 2008.
So the year after.
Yeah.
So did it say who the owner was at that point?
I have to look it up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But, that's just, bad decision making. And it's great to see, one of the things I hate in life is when stupid people move ahead. When people that do shitty things benefit from it. And so, I love the fact that the Dolphins have not really had any meaningful success since they made this decision.
Yeah.
Some
guy named Wayne
Huizenga. He started Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then a waste management company. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, he had it from, I think, the 90s.
Yeah.
So, fuck Wayne, man. Racist bitch.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's funny, though.
Now he gets to hide into the abyss.
Yeah. He might be dead. I don't know.
He might, yeah. Who knows?
Hopefully.
But yeah, this is just awful. I mean, that perfect point that you brought up. Being too hip hop means you're just too black. When 90% of your team is black. So what's 90% of your team is hip hop?
Yeah.
Do you have are you tone deaf? What is going on here?
But we've talked about this before. It's like you have. At the time, you have a white owner, you probably have a white general manager, and they interview head coaches looking, for familiarity and in their mind relatability, and that's leads them to just hire white people and come up with these type of stupid excuses.
Yeah.
And Mike Tomlin, he's one of my favorite guys in football. He is rock solid as a human being. You don't have more character than Mike Tomlin. And if you can't sit across, and that's the thing, listening to him over the last decade and a half or whatever, and watching him operate, I cannot imagine that you sit across a room from him in an interview for a couple of hours and are not impressed by his character.
Yeah. You'll be hard pressed.
I can't imagine it. And if you're going to say, well, we're not going to hire him because he's too, you're not going to hire him because he's black. you're never going to hire him to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a sham interview if that's the case. Yeah, despicable, but sadly not
doesn't surprise. Doesn't come off as surprising.
Not surprising.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's get to some surprising stories here, and then we'll circle back to football. All right. Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Look at this story here, man. A father was arrested, okay?
Go ahead.
I
just realized for the first time he's holding a farm animal.
Who?
In his hand.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I thought that might have been his daughter.
No. Oh, in the smaller picture when you couldn't really see.
Picture. Now that I can see, it's just like, oh, my God.
So, okay, so he was arrested for fatally shooting 67-year-old man found with his missing 14-year-old daughter. Okay, somewhere in Arkansas, Aaron Spencer. Okay, let's see here. The family says that Foster had a no contact order with their daughter, and when Aaron Spencer confronted him, their interaction turned deadly. Now, why would he have a no contact order with the daughter beforehand?
Yeah, that jumped out at me. So there must have been some prior interaction.
Yeah. It says now Heather Spencer is trying to clear her husband's name and raise funds for his legal defense. Heather claimed Foster was a known child predator with ties to law enforcement. Doesn't surprise me. And that her husband was trying to protect this child. In the court of public opinion, it seems many believe Aaron is a hero. What is your take on that?
He should never be arrested. I mean, he did a public service by putting down a pedophile. And pedophiles don't come back. Like, they're not changing. If that's what you are, you're always going to be that. So the only option is to eliminate you. And thankfully, that's what this guy did. Anybody that has a daughter or a child, for that matter, of any gender, if somebody who's a sexual predator absconds with your child, like, you will want to kill them. And in my estimation, you are right to kill them.
Yeah.
It just keeps it simple. He should not be arrested. He should be freed immediately and given the key to the city.
So listen to this. And first, and 14 is young. I mean, whatever. 17, 18 is young as well. But like 13, 14, this is a baby, man. But listen, so this is the wife. By God's never-failing grace, my husband passed this man driving on our road with our minor child in the vehicle. As soon as the predator knew my husband was behind him, he ran. The chase ended in an accident. Aaron was able to retrieve our child alive, but in the process, he was attacked and did what he had to do to protect himself and our minor child. He is now facing an outrageous murder 1 charge. Of course, 15 to life. Now,
murder 1's interesting.
Yeah. So explain that.
So murder 1 is premeditated murder.
Yeah.
Murder 2 would be a heat of the moment murder, and manslaughter is just kind of reckless indifference to human life. So if what the wife said is accurate,
right.
Murder 1 seems ridiculous because, again, it's a heat of the moment scenario. He's driving in the car. He sees the predator with his daughter in the car. He gives chase. An accident follows. An altercation follows, and then he kills the guy. That's heat of the moment all day.
Now, what if the other lawyer argues that, well, he had a no contact. He knows he had a no contact. He should have called the police once he saw the daughter in the car. Is that an argument they can make? That they probably will make?
Who would make
the defense or whatever the correct term? No. The other side, the prosecutor, I guess the word is.
No.
Because remember that guy had a no contact.
Yeah, no.
With the predator.
If they're gonna go with if they're going to go murder 1, they're going to have to argue that this was a premeditated, calculated act. They're going to have to argue that he was hunting this guy and found him, locked in, and killed, executed his plan.
Okay.
That's to get murder 1 because basically it's a premeditated murder. I decide in advance that I'm going to go kill the predator today, and I set my plan and I execute my plan. That's why I said heat of the moment seems more appropriate with the wife's account because it's, hey, I happen to see this guy. There's my daughter. Everything. I'm emotionally charged. And
Which that's a
upset,
that's a huge chance that you just happen to see him pass by.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but here's another reality.
And again, and I'm on his side.
No,
you know
but
what
put
I mean?
it in context. Like, your daughter is missing.
Yeah.
You don't know where she is.
Right.
So, I mean, like, whether you're hunting this guy specifically or just hunting your daughter, you are on high alert, desperate to find your daughter wherever she may be. You're probably calling her friends, calling, anybody that might have had contact with her. I mean, I'm thankfully none of my children have ever been involved in any sort of sexual predator activity. But there has been a couple of times when they were a bit younger, like high school years, where like they didn't make it home and there wasn't clear communication about where they were or what they were doing. And like, again, it's, you don't want to seem too crazy, but I started hitting up friends on Facebook. I have their numbers and I'm like, hey, have you seen, my son? Have you seen my daughter? Like, are you with her? Like, what's up? Yeah. And I mean, thankfully every time, again, it's a couple of times, every time I've had to go that route, the friends have been really cool, and either they give me information or they say, "Hey, I didn't see him," but nobody's acted super strange that I'm suddenly hitting up a teenager looking for my kid. But but at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what the circumstances are. This guy doesn't belong in jail.
Right.
There's no excuse for the 67-year-old sexual predator to have this girl in his car, in his environment for any reason. His death is completely justified, and there's just not a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, not a lot at all. We'll see where it goes, man. I don't know, man. I really hope that nothing. I hope that he can come out of this. Yeah. Because a man wants to protect his family, man, and in the best way that they know how, and especially if he had an inkling the whole time that this guy who has a non-contact, that has had some type of run-in with my daughter in the past. We know that he's a sexual predator. Yeah. He's listed, and he probably had that feeling the whole time, and then just was able to confirm it in the heat of the moment when he had his weapon on him. You're gonna snap.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's point blank period.
And here's another thing that I really don't like about this is, think about this from the perspective of the young girl. She was, with this guy, whether this guy actually had some inappropriate relations with her or maybe just absconded with her and didn't yet have a chance to do that. She's been traumatized. Yeah. She's obviously present for this incident when her dad kills the guy, which is also traumatizing. And now, instead of getting to a place where she could begin whatever the healing process is going to look like, she's now in this thing where her dad's now in jail. Yeah. Her protector. And, it just doubles down on the trauma to her. And what interest of the state are you serving? Like, if you're the prosecutor in this case, what the fuck are you serving? Yeah. We have a dead sexual predator, and you have a dad in jail. For what? You don't want to encourage vigilantism? Well, guess what? Do a better job with your fucking law enforcement. You don't have a problem. But this is absurd.
All right. On from one absurd story to the next. We have an auntie in prison, okay? Now, this auntie, she got some, she's thick now. She got some buns back there now. Pretty auntie.
She's got some buns that need glazing.
Sexy auntie. She's in prison. She says, "Hey, I miss y'all. Free me." So she's on social media while in prison, taking pictures and stuff. If I'm a guard,
really?
If I'm a guard, I'll give her what she asking for too, or whatever, a phone and internet access, whatever she needs.
That should be going the other way.
Okay. Now, here's what she did to get in there. Okay, you can see the picture down below. So Brittany was convicted of killing her nephew. Okay. Back in 2022, so that's what she's serving. So she just posted this a couple of days ago, though. That's why it's trending now. Okay.
Hey, I miss y'all.
Yeah.
Free me.
Now, she was convicted of reckless homicide after she shot her 10-year-old nephew, Caden Williams, in the head. She was handling a firearm when she shot through the ceiling on accident, of course, and the bullet ricocheted off a mirror and struck Caden. He later died in the hospital. So, and her brother was saying how, it was a total mistake. She was just playing around with the gun in the house. Boom, it goes off, ricochets off a mirror, bangs off the wall, and boom, goes through the ceiling, and boom, hits Caden. That's a lot of things, but that's how it went down.
Her brother, who would be the father of the deceased child.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, man.
Lock her up, throw the key away.
Oh, man.
Don't play with guns.
Yeah.
This is your Second Amendment. Y'all want this so bad. You have idiots like this girl screwing around with a gun, and you have a dead 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Nobody was protecting anything. Nobody did anything good with their gun. Go to jail. Like, we don't need you.
I might need her.
No, you don't. There's more ass out there. Just keep looking.
Just keep looking.
I'm sure you found some in Miami. What are we worried about? Nah, that's just no. Don't free you.
I know. Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. I might have to be with you on that, man. But you do your time and
Well, you said it was like 2022.
I know.
I mean, come on. We need at least a decade.
She's ready to get out of there.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
But this is ridiculous, man.
That's a tough story, man, because it was a true accident, but at the same time.
Okay, it's an accident, but what the hell are you doing when the accident happens?
No.
Like, this isn't like I was throwing a football in the front yard and somehow I hit the kid in the head and he died.
Yeah.
Like just crazy, unexpected doing something. No, you're screwing around with a gun you're probably not trained on, a gun that you have no business touching. And this is what happens. Know what you're like. Just get rid of the fucking gun and have a kid instead. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
The risk of the weapon outweighs this, and she can rot in jail.
There we go. Rot in jail, baby. I'll send you somebody on your books. All right.
All right. Like you're actually having a conversation with her.
Got to do your time. Can't do it for you. All right. On to another trending story. Like I said, there's been quite a few.
Oh,
all right. Now, employees at a Circle K, shout out to Circle K. Some
79-cent super drink.
Yeah, and some of them are selling marijuana now. They're getting ahead of the times. All right. But this one is in Phoenix. Called the police about a white guy causing problems. When the police arrived, the white guy accused an innocent deaf black guy across the street of causing the problem. Police then ran off and violently, they beat him up and arrested him. He was a deaf guy with Bell's palsy, too. He had. So he got a lot going on. But he was just minding his own business, chilling out across the street. All right. And I guess the white guy panicked, pointed at him, and said, no, he did it. And police believed him, and they beat him up pretty bad, man. Beat him up pretty bad and arrested him. This is just awful and terrible.
Just the level of absolute incompetence. These cops should never hold a job again.
Yeah.
First of all, they should be in jail for a long time. But what the hell? Like, you literally get a call, white guy is causing trouble.
Yeah.
You find white guy. You don't double check with the Circle K employee who called in and who knows what happened. You jump at whatever the freaking perp says to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
This is like out of a old 1980 comedy movie where it's like, hey, no, they did it, and then he go run away or something.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's hard to believe that in real life, policemen, multiple, can both 2 or 3 of them be duped.
But you raise a question. are you duped, or do you just want this to be the outcome? Like, I mean, seriously, like, what? How stupid do you have to be to just, hey, we've got the suspect here, and he just told us it's the other guy. Like, and what's like, again, like, in full candor, I'm not the most like adaptable person with people who have disabilities. Just, I'm not good at it. But like, a guy that has multiple things going on, like, how does he pose this danger that he has to be like violently arrested?
Yeah, when you do go over
like
there.
you go, he's got, but palsy's like a physical thing. Like, can't you tell? Like, somebody's body mechanics are not what they should be.
Yeah,
and then he's deaf, so he obviously probably can't hear or understand any verbal instructions. But it's just like a violent takedown of this guy. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You just have to be better. And that's excusing the fact that you have no business talking to this guy
in the first place.
Has nothing to do with anything.
And you wonder why he may be a little like he's literally he has no idea what's going on at this Circle K. So he's just minding his own damn business.
Right.
And you just come out of the thin blue sky. And he can't, like you said, he can't understand you, so he doesn't know what's going on. So, but at the same time, he doesn't pose a threat. He doesn't have a weapon, so there's no need to even get into all of this.
Right.
We got Kobe is saying he might be deaf, but after this, he won't be broke.
Let's hope. Let's hope, man.
You know what I mean?
I hope he gets a massive settlement from this.
Yeah.
He deserves every penny of it. I mean, it's just
he says, and they got the tape. Right, I didn't want to play it, but it says, okay, so let me read this. It says, Harris said that after he exited his vehicle, he tried to take hold of the guy's left arm. The guy immediately engaged in active aggression by swinging punches at the police, okay? Within 15 seconds of the altercation, one of the officers says, tase him, and orders the guy to put his hands behind his back. The body camera video shows. So the police officer repeatedly punches the guy on the head. And then while the guy's face down, the police holds his left hand behind his back, and then he shocks him with a taser, yells for him to put his hands behind his back. The police again punches him in his back and screams out, move your hand and put it behind your back. Okay, but again, he's deaf. He's not hearing any of this.
He's deaf, yeah.
And they have him pinned down on the ground, so he can't see, read the lips or anything. And then the police says, "I think I broke my hand." Okay, that's the police saying, "I think I broke my hand." That's how hard he's punching him. I think I broke my hand. And then the police says the guy bit him. The body camera video shows that as well. So all of it is caught on the body camera. So. It's hold on, let me see. The guy says he denies biting the police officer, but he believes that both officers' injuries resulted from their frenzied and violent attacks on the guy. Something needs to happen to these guys. On top of the guy getting the money, getting the bag,
so they should be thrown in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be sentenced. This is ridiculous.
It's crazy, man.
Again.
And whatever happened to the white guy, too, I wonder.
Probably was all laughing.
I wonder.
Side. Probably. Yeah. That's just inexcusable. Like, we cannot tolerate that level of idiocy, from anybody, let alone the police.
Yeah. Oh, man. NAACP is involved now, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Where's Ben Crump?
Yeah. We're going to get this thing going, man.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next one. That's a crazy story. That was a crazy. Just that right there. That little 2-sentence paragraph explained all of it, really.
Yeah.
So good job by them. Duval promo. All right. Let's go here. We got what? One more crazy story here. I wanted to talk about this lady here really quick while we passing through. Okay. Now this lady is going viral. She shared a picture with her son at the football game. We're coming out of Little League football here. And a lot of people are upset with her. You know, you got a lot of moms coming in on the comments. Oh, you didn't have to go there wearing that, and you're just, you know, you're not really supporting your son. You're just trying to show your ass off. And
she has his name on the back.
And that's what she's saying. And she's responding to, like, the majority of the comments because I went under the post.
Oh, that's funny.
And she's responding to most of them. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm out here. I'm just showing his name, showing I got his name on the back of, you know, the jersey and everything. I can't hide my body, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But, you know, I went to that Little League game I told you about. Not this one. I wish I'd went to this one. But
don't we all?
With our guy there. And, yeah, some of the mothers do dress. They dress a little, you know. They dress like they go out to the club a little bit there.
All right, but okay, I'm glad you said that because okay, now we got the two pictures, okay?
Yes, no, yeah.
And it's a little bit. This makes it a little. I'm calling BS on this.
Yeah.
The photo at the game.
Oh yes.
At the end of the day, she's wearing a long sleeve shirt with the family name and her son's number on it. And she's wearing workout pants.
Yeah.
That's it.
The yoga pants. Yeah.
I mean, my daughter wears yoga pants like every day.
Yeah.
Like this is not what she is wearing is not bad in any way.
Yeah.
It's just that she's got some assets that make this look a little different.
Yeah.
But that no, I mean, leave this woman alone. I mean, she's just going to the game. Like, what do you want her to wear? Like, you know, you're ashamed of your body by comparison, so you're firing shots at her. You know, what you want her to wear some like big tarp or something? Like, it's one of these big dresses that heavy people wear. Like, I mean, it's just not.
She's saying it's all natural too.
Yeah,
So
I mean, there's still like what she's wearing at the game is in no way inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like it's literally a long sleeve shirt and yoga pants. Like, come on. If you can't wear that, you know, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we are. Get a grip, guys.
Yeah.
And go to the gym and get some ass. Maybe you could be like her.
Yeah.
That's
go to the gym and get it. Don't go to some crazy doctor in Miami.
All right, here. What do we have next here? I think that's it for the crazy stories there. All right. Oh, no. We got one more. I saved this for last.
Uno mas.
Save this for last. So, there's been this debacle on OnlyFans, okay?
Debacle?
Yeah, so, you know, OnlyFans, I feel like it started with like feet pictures and like girls in like lingerie, and you pay for your girl you used to go to school with in high school, and she's on there and you're just paying whatever. Then it moved to like maybe they're using toys on themselves and this and that. And nowadays it's just it's a paid porn site, which is a little weird because Pornhub is free. But in any event,
like the rest of this is not weird.
Like, in any event,
paying to look at feet, that's cool. No, you want to pay for actual porn. Now it's a little weird. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about?
I don't know any free paid feet sites. I don't know. Well, I you know, it's not my lane, so who knows?
Go to the beach and look at feet. I don't know. Like, what's up? Like, that's too funny.
So now they it's like, you know, it's like paid porn, and so they coordinate these. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, I follow two women on Instagram, and they you know, they do porn on OnlyFans. Yeah. And what they always they when they share their stories or whatever, sometimes they're looking for, they call it content creators, right? Like looking for, that's what they call it. Looking for a male content creator. You know, got to be in shape. Your thing got to be real big. And this and that.
When they simply said male content creator, I thought you were in the mix. The next two qualifiers kind of sent you home.
And then sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, definitely don't need any males, just looking for another girl to do this content with, whatever, right? And so, and what's funny is I never see them ask about, like, when they're asking a like list of qualifications, they never ask for like a clean, you know, AIDS report or whatever. It's clean STD report or whatever, right?
That's not. I mean, you don't want to put that in social media.
Well, I'm just saying. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this here. Got a video at first, and then we're going to react. All right. All right. 1 second here. And apparently, this is one of the biggest. The guy she's talking about is pretty much the biggest in this space.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it. Yes, he gave it to me. It's devastating to have to come on here and share that whenever I was 19 years old, Gucci third leg burned me with HSV2. And he told me that he was going to send me his test results. And he never did. And it saddens me to hear that he's done this to so many girls. And there's girls with so many similar stories to me. And they're so young as well. He is preying on the young. He is preying on the new. And I'm so sorry for not saying this 7 months ago. I was scared. And I was making so much money. I can't keep beating around the bush because you guys think I'm lying. And he can't ruin anybody else's life. I didn't know what he was known for. I didn't know who he was. I didn't do my research. And it is my fault.
So, and that guy, where we at here? He went viral for, like, he was saying how he slept with over 3,000 women in his time and things like that. And then he most recently did an interview with Aiden Ross and Academics, and he basically showed his report. He was positive for it or whatever, but he was trying to explain how it's not what you think, it's whatever. And then about how he's retiring, but not because of this controversy. He wants to start something, a condom thing, where he's going to promote safe sex now, and he's going to be on that side of things, and he's just not going to do the content creating anymore. But it's not because he got exposed for having, this. It's just a bunch of foolishness. But
that sure is.
But you see my point to bringing that up, to where it's like, okay, she reached out or whatever, to do content with him, and and she went on there as well, and she was like, they made a lot of money for their video, and she liked them so much, after whatever, in less than a week, she got his name tattooed. In less than knowing him a week, got his name tattooed on her and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah. He's So he's probably pretty good at what he do.
Despite the theatrics and the tears, she kind of summed it up. Like, it was her fault.
Yeah.
Like, again, if you're going to be in that lane of work, you have to take the necessary precautions to do that work, and not, let it fly on the test. Even, it sounds like there was some communication over test results, but it's like, if you're going to be a professional in that environment, you need the test result before you do the work.
Yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't matter. If you're going to email you test results later, what's done is done. So, unfortunately for her, she's incredibly naive and really had to pay the price there. He's a shit guy for, kind of doing that. But, in his mind, I'm sure the money was probably pretty good for him, and he probably doesn't have a whole lot of other talents, and this was the best avenue to make money. You know? So, that's funny. But then the whole pivot. Like, dude, that's why I hate when people just, like, recharacterize stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're damn sure the problem is you've now been outed for having herpes and giving it to people. So there's not going to be many people in the industry willing to work with you.
Yeah.
So you've shit in your bed, so to speak, and now you got to go find something else to do. So it's just dumb. I just, it's kind of like that. The funny thing is that, did you see that thing with like Jaguar Wright and Piers Morgan?
I've been seeing that name. Everybody's talking
about it a long time ago.
Yeah.
But she's been, like, super heavy on the Diddy stuff.
Yeah.
And she kind of does these rants, and they're all dramatic, and she kind of speaks from this perspective that, like, she's been around and she knows what's what. And, she's firing shots at Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now, the interesting thing is she goes on Piers Morgan's show. Now, he's a douchebag in his own right, but he's a bigger platform. And she goes on there and starts saying a bunch of stuff about Jay-Z and whatever, and then his attorneys fire a cease and desist order to him, and he's got to pull the content and apologize.
Oh, damn.
And so the interesting thing about it, and it's kind of what, like, whoever interviewed the Gucci third leg here, it's like, we don't have any control if, like, a Jaguar Wright or Gucci wants to go on their platform and say what they want to do. That's where we are. But when you're like a bigger, more established platform and you give that platform to somebody who's just kind of full of crap, like you're kind of endorsing them in a way, and legitimizing them by having them on. And then if they kind of just go off the rails, it's kind of on you at that point.
Yeah.
You know, if you're Jaguar Wright and you're just, you know, recording your own shit and putting it up on your YouTube page, you know, it is what it is. But if you're kind of called into a bigger platform and given a sit down kind of interview, like they're giving you some measure of credibility.
Yeah.
By doing that, and you know, you kind of become, you know, culpable for that. So I say that in a whole roundabout way to say, like, whoever interviewed this guy and let him kind of get away with saying that should really like find something else to do.
Yeah, and they gave him a little pushback to be fair, but still, it's just crazy. But yeah, that I don't know what's going to happen in that space now. Like I say, I don't utilize OnlyFans for that. So
what do you utilize it for?
I don't utilize it at all.
Okay. Thank you for putting that out.
I wanted to be. I
you
reached
sound
out.
disappointed that it's used for sex. I don't get this.
I reached out to a couple of girls to be like an online manager, and
really
in the OnlyFans space, and and a couple of those feet website stuff. And I came close.
You were gonna be the
foot
pimp.
Yeah, like I would take the pictures, I would post them, I would handle all of the communication with the men, and then we would do like a split, you know what I mean, like a 50-50 split on the money.
Okay.
But they wanted to be greedy and take more, so.
And you were inflexible on that?
It's a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta hold up all the conversations with the men. I gotta pretend to be the girl with the feet. And then I gotta take all the pictures, edit them, post them, huh?
But what split were they pushing for?
Oh, one was like 70-30, the other one 60-40.
Bubba, you should have taken those. Because here's the deal: with their feet, you're making money. Without their feet, you're making nothing. Work or no work.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. I don't know. I think you should have taken a deal.
Maybe so.
Left some money on the table, Bubba.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not built for Shark Tank.
Very, very disappointing. And maybe you could have subbed out the communication work to somebody else.
Yeah. Maybe so.
That's funny, though.
Yeah. Maybe I'll circle back.
You should.
The old circle back.
Let's revisit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Moving on to back to sports here.
It's quite a detour.
A lot of these guys did with some of these OnlyFans.
We had a couple murders. We had the big booty mom in football.
This is a full show here,
man. And then
man.
we had the OnlyFans rant.
This is a full spectrum of On the Bench today.
Yeah,
you're getting it all today. Got the police stuff in there. You know, you got all that stuff in there. And now we have the NBA, man. The NBA preseason is here. And you know, we talked about Ben Simmons at the top of the show. Now you got a couple of these trending quotes and things like that. And for starters here, Klay Thompson is continuing his struggles. Of course, last year in Golden State, maybe the last 2 years, you could say, Klay has kind of calmed down on the hot shooting. All right, and now he's 3 of his last 30 shots, man, from the 3-point line. That's tough. Now, is it leaning more towards he's washed and just over the hill, or just he needs time to get acclimated into this Dallas system?
I think it's slightly more complicated than that. I think he's physically he's not really good anymore. And I think more importantly than the physical, though, I think his confidence is broken. But the last 2 years with the Warriors that just weren't real pretty, and then you kind of feel like you get away from that, you get a new setting, but the same problems, inconsistency of shooting. When that's really the primary remaining value of his game, He's not nearly the defender he was before the 2 horrific injuries. And, just other than the shooting, I mean, that's the one thing he should be able to hang his hat on and deliver at a near elite level. But he's broken mentally. And I think when it carries to your next spot, it really affirms that. There could have been some mental baggage being in Golden State and having been so great there and not being able to play to that standard that maybe eats away at you when you're an elite performer. But, getting away from that and there's no change in your performance, you're not more comfortable, you're not more happy, there's no, kind of sense of renewed purpose. He's broken inside.
He's broken, but again, man, that the physical stuff I think is a bigger issue. What's funny is a lot of the older people say your jump shot is the last thing to go. If I can't do anything else, I can still shoot. And that's just not completely accurate. Like, Clay is going to have some good shooting games here and there. Like, he had a couple last season. Like, the thing is over time and sustainability. You know what I mean? That's the question, because it's 82 games plus playoffs. That's the issue here. And from a physical standpoint, man, when you lose, your mechanics suffer when you lose, like athleticism, when you don't jump as high on your jump shots, when you can't get the same amount of separation anymore, just different nuances in your jump shot, it changes it. And you have to alter your jump shot, and then and I think that's what we're seeing from Clay, along with, again, like you said, the mental aspect of it, and confidence.
I agree with what you're saying. I definitely feel that the physical does affect it, but and again, it's where I think it spills into the mental, and they're interchangeable, is that even great shooters at the peak of their powers go through shooting slumps.
Yeah.
Clay had him when he was at his peak of the Warriors. But when a great player has those slumps, they're able to kind of still do a bunch of other stuff that kind of keeps them engaged in the game, keeps them going. Clay's at a point where like the jump shot's like the last remaining asset. And so when he goes in a slump, it's not going to be, let's just let Clay play through it because he's given us good stuff on defense and he's given us these other things. It's going to be, Clay's going to go to the bench and some other guy's going to come in.
Yeah, that's
and now
definitely what happened in Golden State.
You take a night when now it's, instead of 32 minutes and maybe 18 points on decent shooting and whatever, now it's maybe 0 for 6 in 13 minutes and didn't play the fourth quarter. And then, like, now you got to carry that game to game to game. And, like, now you basically become a disposable guy. And when you were an integral guy transitioning to disposable guy, it's brutal.
It's awful, man.
Yeah.
Kobe says Aaron Rodgers is going through the same thing. That wall comes at you fast. Brady was on the same trajectory. He got off in a good time.
Yeah.
Man. Now moving on here, and a last thing here I wanted to say is it kind of sucks for Dallas as well. Clay was one of their biggest, all-season acquisitions.
Yeah.
And you're kind of leaning on him to provide that wing shooting. And again, he's going to have some good games, but a part of the things they were looking was to upgrade because they had P.J. Washington, which they still have, but they also had the lone guy, the Linky. He's not there anymore.
The young guy, Lively?
Yeah, not Lively. He was playing like the 3-4.
Exum?
No, Exum is a reserve guard. I almost called his name, but he's the athletic guy that he was basically the essential wing defender, but he was a really, really poor shooter. And the name will come to me in a couple of minutes here.
Okay.
But yeah, so they were looking to upgrade that position, and it may not be that much. And he's not going to play defense as well as that guy. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Now on to your guy Wemby. All right, Wemby saying that some NBA stars, are really impressive and inspiring in the way that they approach the game, but others that he used to, look up to and like, they don't seem like they put in as much work as he thought they did or thought that they would have. And I think that's just the essence of the NBA, man. I think people would be surprised at the level of work that some put in versus the others.
No,
some people are just in it for a check, man, and for the status it provides, and they're going to do the bare minimum in the off seasons.
I agree. Again, this is another reason why I really like Wemby. I think from the first time I started seeing him get interviewed, he has a simple wisdom that transcends his age, and this is like another example of it. And I love that he's articulating it and saying it. And to me, if I'm in his position, I like it. I'm happy half you guys aren't going to work like I'm going to work, because I don't have to worry about you. Now I just, if I thought there were 25 like absolutely great players in the league, now there's 12. That's all I got to deal with. To move. I mean, I think if you're a competitor, that's the way you look at it. And that's I love it. He's on the right path. There's a purity of purpose. There's a commitment to work, and he's doing that right now. And to articulate this again, absolutely love it. I think it's true. I think there's a lot of guys that got really, really good, and then kind of maybe lost the motivation and the drive to be even better.
I know of one story here, and it made a ton of sense. It was one of the, when they really had the NBA Pro-Am, the summer leagues here, not summer league, Pro-Am here. One of the first iterations of it, when they really had, NBA players to come in and play.
Yeah.
And one summer they had Andre Drummond come and play.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a guy that was a part of the league that a part of the NBA that Juan knows. He was telling us about Drummond, because Drummond actually stayed a vast majority of the summer in Orlando and played in the Pro-Am. And he was just saying how Drummond is just content with being a really great rebounder.
Yeah.
So he works out in the weight room and just does various different rebounding drills, but that's all. He's content with that. He's not working on post hooks and working on developing his game offensively. He's just content with that. And I think a lot of players do that as well. Okay, I do this well. If I can feed my family and keep the status and get another check, get another deal because I do this well, then boom, that's it.
Yeah,
and that's what they do.
No, and there's a fine line of guys. I mean, there's only a handful of like really star level players, and a key to longevity in a lot of ways is to figure out, what do I do in the NBA game that makes money? Mm-hmm. And again, if it's elite rebounding, if it's 3-and-D defense, if it's backup point guard style, I come in, I never turn the ball over, I execute our plays, I get our guys the shots. You can stay in the league almost as long as you want.
Yeah.
If you have that defined skill set and you perfect that. And so I've heard players talk. It's like, they don't train anything that's not in their direct skill set in any meaningful way. It's like, I know this is my role. These are the shots I'm going to get in a game, and I will get hundreds of those up a day. But I'm not going to, if nobody's ever going to post me up, I'm not going to try to expand my game in the post. But when you're trying to be at that absolute upper tier, you're operating and playing in a completely different game. You have an ability to score or dictate or control a game at an elite level that everybody has to prepare for, that everybody game plans to contain or affect your ability to operate. And when you're in that realm, you have to come up with counters. You have to expand your game every offseason, because every team in the league, every defensive specialist in the league is working on things that they think are going to affect you.
Right.
And that's a whole different realm. And that's the realm that Wemby aspires to be a part of. And I'm thrilled that this is his mindset.
No, facts. Now, up top, we have Greek Freak, Giannis. This quote came in today. He says, if we don't win a championship, I might get traded. This is the job we live. This is the world we're living in. It's everybody. at any given moment, if you don't succeed, that might be it for us. If you don't do a good enough job, you're out. All right. And just, speaking towards Milwaukee is, they're in a win now mode, win or else. And, and it kind of speaks towards the culture too. I mean, we're in this, if you win a championship or you're a bum era. That's kind of what, seriously.
Yeah.
That's how fans look at it, and that's how, players are discussed. Now, even though Giannis have won, he's won with Milwaukee. What we're on now? 3 years ago now? Is that
3 years ago?
Something like that. Time is moving, man.
Yeah.
And here you are, another season, and they're going to be they're not going to be the favorites, but they should have every tool in the toolbox to get it done. Nobody's going to give them any excuses.
I think this is an incredibly nuanced statement. I think that it is on its face an acceptance of those championship expectations, and that we know what we are. I think it's also a partial response to the end of last year when he had that long quote about winning, not winning, and he kind of I thought it was like not profound's probably a little strong, but I thought it was a very thoughtful response and had a ring of truth to it, but it wasn't well received by win now culture. And so I think he was kind of addressing that. And I think in a lot of ways he's hyping himself up and putting some motivation into himself for this season. He's setting the bar high. He's basically creating a mentality internally that if I don't do shit, I'm expendable. I'm not the complacent star. I'm not just going to be fine because I'm Giannis and I'll put up a certain amount of points. And he's like, there's another part of this quote that said, I want to get out of the freaking first round, which they haven't done in 2 years. And so, I think this is, a real statement of motivation, a deep statement of personal motivation, and a counter to the vibe he left last season with that kind of broader perspective of winning and success and those sort of things. He's just sending a message. I'm here. I'm accountable this year. I'm here to go for it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love both. Two of my favorite guys. Because, again, Giannis, what I see in Wemby and why he's so intriguing to me is a lot of what I saw in Giannis. And I call it purity of purpose. That they're guys that come into this and they want to win. They want to be great. They want to leave a legacy. They're not, they don't spend much time talking about getting the bag. They're not talking a lot about contracts. And because they're not playing for that they know that's coming.
Yeah.
Giannis is rich for generations, and Wemby is well on his way.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to worry about that. They've secured the bag already, but they still strive for the highest level of performance. And that's what we as fans want. If you're not going to applaud and root for these two guys the way they're approaching it, and you're going to cheer for the Clippers and Strip Club Harden, go fuck yourself.
Strip Club Harden.
Get the bag Beal. All these fucking losers.
Oh, man. I definitely have my fair share of losers that I talk about. But
how about you got Paul George picked up a knee injury. Embiid's not going to play back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Paul George may not play back-to-backs.
I'm a fan of that, though.
Really? I think it's already going downhill at Philly.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, the Embiid thing I already knew was coming.
I knew it was coming, but I just don't like it.
Well, last year is simple. What happened last year was, because it's a ongoing war he has with the medical staff. The medical staff last year said, "Hey, we're gonna let you go out, be freely, do what you do," and Embiid played in back-to-backs last year. He did whatever he wanted to do, and he got hurt, and he didn't play a lot of games. And I'm sure the conversation was, all right, if you break down this year, next year you have to do exactly what we think is going to have you last.
Is Robert Duvall in charge of the training staff for the Sixers?
Why you say that?
Did you ever see the movie Days of Thunder?
No, that sounds like an old one though.
It's a Tom Cruise classic.
I'm not a big
So
Tom Cruise guy.
I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is a NASCAR racer. And he's like,
He's not saving the world in this one?
No. Tom Cruise at his best is pursuing simple things. When he tries to save the world, he's full of shit.
Okay, that's what
But
that's all I know.
Tom Cruise, like the traditional Tom Cruise character, is the undisciplined, supremely talented guy walking into the world. And so he's this like hotshot race car driver who could drive super fast. And he's got Robert Duvall as his pit chief, who's like the old school guy. And so they start racing at the beginning of the season. And Tom Cruise is crashing and blowing up tires left and right. And they finally go to have a beer, and they agree to this. Robert Duvall's like, you run 50 laps my way, and then you run 50 laps your way. If you're faster running your way, we'll continue to wreck cars. If we're faster doing it my way, you're going to listen to me. And sure enough, they did the thing. And he was faster running the way that Robert Duvall wanted him to.
Yeah, so we'll see if the medical staff is Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
But so we have to play this year out and see. But yeah, the Paul George injury it was freakish. Luckily, it's not anything crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking. Yeah, I would have been on suicide watch possibly.
Suicide watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been tough.
Does it look like Jerry McClain's going to get a rotation spot or no?
He actually was just taken to the hospital.
What?
Speaking of crazy things that's been happening.
What happened to him?
He took a nasty fall in the game tonight. I'm sure Ben Simmons probably put a wet towel on the floor or something. And but
put himself on the floor.
Injuries aside tonight, I don't believe so. No. He was going to spend more of his time in the G League and in injury minutes because we're so loaded at that position. We have you got Tyrese, you have Kyle Lowry, and you also have Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson's in the
Yeah. So we have Reggie as well. So
yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk some Deion here, man. Deion Sanders and hold on, we just had what did Kobe says here?
Lonzo Ball played tonight for Chicago.
How did Alonzo look?
I don't know. He just said he played some minutes tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll look that up later. But Deion Sanders, he's been, Colorado took a tough loss there, and he's been under fire. You got Travis Hunter getting hurt. A lot of people saying, hey, you can't play him both ways. This is why he's going to get hurt. And then you have his son Shiloh. He had a very tough game. The guy shook him and went to his knees, man. That was a crazy, crazy shake. You know what I mean? Got a shaking fries there, man. I haven't seen one of those in a little while. And then he came out publicly and said, hey, man, Shiloh had a terrible, shitty game.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, and then they have – who do they have this week? I think they have a pretty good opponent, I'm pretty sure. I remember looking at it. But what is your take from the last game and Travis getting injured? They said he should be playing this week.
I don't think anything there has anything to do with Deion. I think what are we talking about? Travis Hunter is a marvel because he does what he does.
Yeah,
playing both ways. I'm not convinced that him on one side of the ball exclusively is completely elite. I don't know. I think what makes him elite is his ability to do both at high volume and high level. But if he were purely a wide receiver, there's better receivers in the country. If he's purely a corner, there might be better corners in the country. So let him do what he does. And I think it's like ridiculously insincere of anybody to criticize this. Mm-hmm. Because the reality is, for 2 years now, we've enjoyed the show of this kid doing what he's doing. Now he gets hurt, and suddenly we're going to be, it's overused. Deion's fault. Come on, man. And the kid wants to do it.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he was on I saw a clip the other day. He's like, he's like, I don't get tired. Like, I don't get tired. Like, and I know it's puffery and it is whatever. It's mental. But I respect the hell out of him for doing it. I hope he does it as long as he can. And this is the risk of playing football. Like, last year he got injured on a bullshit cheap shot. This year he gets injured. It's not necessarily because he played too much. Like, it happens. Guys get carried off the field every week in football. It's just, this is the reality of the game you play. And it has an extremely high injury rate. With any player in football, it's not a question of if, it's when. You will get hurt. And it's going to happen. And, I think to draw criticism on this is stupid.
It's tough because it's an easy cop-out, right? It's an easy cop-out to say, hey, he's playing too much, all of these snaps, et cetera, and this is why, you can say he's getting hurt or got hurt this time. But I will say this: they play Arizona. Arizona's at home, and they're saying that he's on track to play. Now, if they do play him, do you play him both ways in this game? That'd be interesting to see, man.
Yeah.
And if you only play him one way, which way will that be? So
I think
that'd be interesting as well.
I think the more I do not see them restricting him to one side of the ball. They may limit his snaps, and he may sit more series.
Okay.
And just try to manage him through the game. And again, you're gonna, because he has value on both sides of the ball, even offensively in a sense of a decoy on certain stuff. And so they may pick and choose a little bit more on his total snaps, but I don't think you do that by saying, okay, we're only going to go defense tonight. I'd be surprised if they did that.
Yeah. But Colorado is playing a lot better than they did last season, of course.
Yeah.
What they're at 2 losses now. So, if they continue this trajectory, maybe they lose, 3 or 4 games.
Well, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
At the turn. So that you're looking at it potentially, if you do the same, you're at 8-4 team. You're comfortably in a bowl game. And honestly,
is that a successful season for them?
I was going to say, honestly, a successful season.
Yeah.
Because nobody's saying this is a great roster.
Yeah.
You have 2 stars, and you have a couple other, okay guys. Defense this year has played with a bit more zest. Offensive line, a bit better. They're not a good offensive line.
Yeah.
So to overall, if you come out of this 8-4 from 4-8, you've flipped the win-loss total. That's a measure of progress.
Yeah.
But I do want to address the Shiloh thing. That running back, and I don't know his name, but last year Bryson and I went to the Bullshit Bowl here in Orlando with K-State against NC State, and that guy jumped off the field for me. I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's a real runner. And when you watch him play, and I wish if somebody knows his name, he has elite vision. He has great patience and maneuverability, like he showed Shiloh in small spaces.
Yeah.
And he's one of those other players, he always runs with a forward body lean and almost never gets tackled neutral or negative, where like when you tackle him, he's falling forward.
Right.
Like 90% of the time. He is a real quality back. I don't know his measurables or any of that, but I will be a little bit surprised if he doesn't make an NFL team.
It's funny because you see all of these. Let me see. He's a legitimate baller. So I put his name in there.
Yeah.
It's funny because you see all of these running backs get drafted late every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and they come from schools like this. You know what I mean? Like I say, the Chiefs got Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round. I'm sure he jumped off the page at some point in a couple of those games throughout his college career.
Yeah, he's Rutgers, I believe.
Yeah. So you just
and he tested well. He ran like a very fast 40 time.
Yeah, like a 4.4.
Oh, it's DJ Giddens.
DJ Giddens.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, DJ Giddens, man. He would be on my draft board. I mean, if I could get him in the mid rounds, I'm taking it. I definitely think he'll be one of those dudes who, kind of has a nice productive rookie year. If he gets in the right situation and gets some carries, he'll do something with them.
Right. Exactly. All right, here. Lonzo had a decent game today, I see.
6'1", 212. That's nice.
6'1", 212?
Yeah, that's really perfect.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll probably do well at the combine too.
Yeah.
DJ Giddens.
But he has a gift for running. I was watching a game with my cousin, and he's a football guy, and I was just saying, like, running the football is one of those skills that, like, it's so innate. I don't know if there's another football position that's nearly as innate, but you can't coach a guy how to run and find space.
No.
All good running backs have vision, and I don't think you can coach that. It's just something you kind of have. Spatial awareness, time and space and all that. It's when somebody has it, it's a joy to watch.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That's for sure. The Chiefs are playing the 49ers this week.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game.
Yeah.
Now, the 49ers are actually the favorites, and people are up in arms about that.
49ers at home?
Yes.
Okay.
They are at home, but
they're pieces back except for McCaffrey?
Yes.
Okay.
Debo's back, and
Kittle.
Kittle. Brandon Ayuk has been playing since the beginning. And also for the thing is, though, for the Chiefs, I'm sorry, the 49ers are 3-3. The Chiefs are undefeated at 5-0. But of course, the Chiefs have, they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. You have that
twice.
Twice. They're undefeated. They, they have a couple of key injuries, but so did the 49ers. How are they not the favorites is the question.
But you said they're at home.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
I think that if what I'm looking at is this. Although the Chiefs are 5-0, the majority of the games have been very close games. And they're probably doing the thing of the 49ers at home. They'll be extra motivated to avenge the Super Bowl loss. And, let's make them the favorite. That's why. I mean, it's simple logic, whatever. The reality is the 49ers have been a little spotty this year. They've lost some leads. They've lost a couple games already. They've not been great. I mean, if we want to potentially criticize the Chiefs for, winning some close games, they're winning them. The 49ers have lost a couple football games already. And, that says a lot.
Yeah, we tend to focus on the 49ers offense like, okay, hey, is Debo playing today? What is up with McCaffrey, et cetera, Purdy? But really, their defense this is not the same defense that, the Chiefs played in that first Super Bowl. The number one defense in the league. It was like how Mahomes is going to score on this defense. It was crazy. That defense was super legit. This is not the same defense, man. And they have given up. They gave up 24 to Seattle and Arizona. They gave up 27 to the Rams. 23 they gave up. They've been giving up some points to average offenses. Okay, that's my point to bringing that up. And so, number one, the Chiefs should be favored, but the 49ers could definitely win the game. Now, Mahomes is favored to win the MVP, right? But he hasn't had like an MVP season so far. It's just because he's undefeated, and clearly, he has the status of the number one quarterback in the league. Now, if they lose the game, I feel like any type of momentum that he has to win the MVP kind of goes away. You know what I mean? And into the abyss. But if he wins, even with mediocre numbers, like that train and the status of being undefeated, you know what I mean? Going into week 7, things of that nature. I think he can take a stronghold on that MVP conversation.
I disagree, because to me, the MVP is won and always will be won in the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season. And whatever narratives you want to push now, somebody having a great statistical campaign, somebody being undefeated, 5, 6, 7
just
games
doesn't matter much.
Does not matter. There's when we get to about week 10, there's going to be a couple of candidates. And then what's going to happen is, how do those candidates close the season?
How do they finish?
And that's the reality. That happens every year. And last year, Lamar got it. And what did the Ravens did? They went on a run late, and they beat the 49ers in a high-profile game. And they had another. I think they beat Philly. They won a couple of
The 49ers was a huge game for Lamar.
The 49ers was the game. The 49ers looked great going into that.
Yeah.
It was a clash of the Titans. They came out on top. But I also think there was another quality win or two in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it sealed it for Lamar. And so nothing changes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if the Chiefs go 8-0, but finish the back half of the season 5-4, and they're 13-4, great season. But those last couple games are probably gonna, somebody else will probably finish hotter and get that MVP
great
campaign. Or vice versa. I mean, it could be whatever. They could drop the game this weekend and maybe drop a game the week after. But if they close in December with winning their last 5 games and finish 14-3,
Yeah.
your MVP.
Yeah.
It's always won in December.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with that. But in any event, this is still a very big game for early in the season. I can't wait to take a look at it. I haven't caught any games with you this year yet.
Game or a Monday night game, or what do we got?
It is a 4:25 game.
Okay.
You may have to catch up and watch. I haven't watched any games with you this year.
I know you've been on the road at Caribbean festivals,
I've
things like that.
I've been on the road, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down. So pencil me, ink me in.
All right, 4:00. Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, not much going on. Not much going on at all. Let's see here. I wanted to see one other thing here. Like I said, Lonzo had a fair game. Have you? Do you know that it's the championship in the WNBA?
I'm aware.
You are aware, at least. How are you aware?
We were at the Confines a week from Monday, and it was on there, and it was the playoffs, and so that was, it was mentioned.
It was mentioned. Yeah, the New York is up 2-1 now. They won tonight.
Okay.
Do you think this was a successful season for the WNBA with Caitlin and Angel, and now you sparred into the championship?
Yeah, I mean, by WNBA standards, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any way that you could deny that way more people were engaged in this WNBA season than before. I mean, Caitlin Clark is talking. We've talked about her so much on this show, and I give zero fucks about women's basketball. I don't. Like, I think if I meet a woman in person and she can hoop, it's like really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like, I've not watched a WNBA game. When I say it was on at the Confines, Monday Night Football was on, and they had a TV with the WNBA on. So I mean, that's I wasn't focused on that. But it just I can't imagine that they haven't had one of their better seasons from a place of just being a talking point and being part of the news cycle in sport.
But will Caitlin or Angel need to be in these games?
Successful season thanks to a bit of racism. Agreed.
Yeah. Will Caitlin need to be in the playoffs and championship games to really capitalize? Because, I mean, because if a ton of people watched because of Caitlin, because of the race thing between Caitlin and Angel, well, Caitlin and Angel weren't a part of the. Caitlin went out early in the playoffs, and Angel didn't make the playoffs. Caitlin went out. I believe they got swept. If not, but I know they lost in the first round.
I don't think. I don't think that we're looking at like this Caitlin Angel dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't think it carries. Neither one is on strong teams. I think Angel seemed to have a good season in her own right, particularly for a rookie. As the season went along, I mean, Caitlin put up big numbers.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of instances where there was some stuff with other players on the court that got clicks that were kind of newsworthy, I guess. But it's one of those things. I mean, what's the lady who's actually like the MVP?
Yeah.
Wilson?
Asia Wilson.
So
yeah.
My thing is like, okay, I now know her name is.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was alive before this year with all the news that came out there.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen with Caitlin Clark is she'll probably have a a band of fanatics that will just be into her for whatever. But if league-wise, if she doesn't, find her way to get to like a winning situation where she can contend in the playoffs and so forth, I don't think that there's going to be, it'll eventually sort of tail off in that regard.
Yeah.
And it is funny because it's like, Kobe mentioned the bit of racism, and it's true. Like, you have behind her Juju Watkins at USC, and she has a chance, being a freshman last year, to continue to build up some amazing stats over the course of her college career and then eventually go to WNBA. Like, will it be the same because she's black?
Yeah.
There's a reality in America that, white people really crave some sort of identification or relatability in sports. And that, if there's a white face that's relevant or good, they're drawn to it like moths to a flame. And that is what it is.
Yeah.
And so that, her being an elite player and coming into the league as a white woman, it's huge. It was a frenzy. And it all started, 2 years ago in that Final Four.
But it has to be that has to play a part in it because just like Kobe's talking about the Sabrina, she's a white girl. She just had the game winner tonight on a crazy step back win to put New York Liberty up 2-1 in the series. And but like and like I'm 99% sure she was the one that went head to head with Steph, right?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Sabrina Ionescu, but she doesn't get she never got the pub or getting the pub that Caitlin got.
It was like it's like Malcolm Gladwell talks about this stuff, like the certain tipping points to things that happen, and again, there's been a lot of white NBA stars like Diana Taurasi.
Yeah. There you go.
Brianna Stewart.
Right. I'm talking about like great
day.
players for WNBA.
Taurasi's believed to be like one of the all-time greats, I think, in history.
Yeah.
So no, it's and that's why I made a point to say it started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the perfect storm.
Yeah.
You had that. Literally, you don't even have to change the results of the game. If you take one thing out, if you take that one pass that her and Angel had with each other, with the kind of the taunting thing, if that one image does not exist, women's basketball does not experience any of this. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Because that became a race issue.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have.
Right.
It's two competitors hooping. That's not how I saw it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's how anybody who's a real hooper saw it. But people made it a race.
People made it that way.
And white people, because here's the way white people react. Okay, it's not just that she's a good player. She was in that moment a white player, like having success against black people.
Yeah.
Like, she's our girl.
Yeah.
That's what she was. Yeah. And it was made not by her basketball ability.
No.
Make no mistake about it. It was made by that one moment when that little iconic image of them kind of like, whatever, taunting each other, whatever you want to consider that. That was it.
Yeah.
If that did not happen, if that image was not captured, none of this happens to the WNBA. So in a crazy effed up way, they have to be super thankful. But it's like one of those things that, like, it's kind of sick that that's what it took.
Yeah. And Kobe says, yep, Eminem effect, Jack Johnson, Floyd versus McGregor. You need a tad bit of that. Yeah. No, I believe that. Yeah, Chris was talking about Juju too, but yeah, you mentioned Juju.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back next week, and we'll hopefully talk some more NFL and the start of the NBA regular season.
Yeah,
all right.
22nd.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're out.